Hi and welcome to another episode of Startup Stories, the podcast that brings you your weekly entrepreneurship education and startup training by Europe's most inspiring founders. This episode brings us together with Eric Laudet from Batmaid, a startup that lets you book trusted house cleaners in a blink of an eye. It enables households to book their hand-picked and declared cleaning professionals in less than 60 seconds for a one-off cleaning or with a particular frequency. Batmaid's business model creates jobs, fights against the black market, and removes the hassle of hiring a maid on the client's side. Last but not least, Batmaid is able to offer the lowest price for cleaning on the market while making sure the Batmaids remain the top paid cleaners in Switzerland. In our conversation, we cover the backstory of Batmaid and how it became to be what it is today, how the team managed to grow the platform in such a short amount of time, and we also dive into other exciting startup ideas that Eric is working on. I'm super excited to share this episode with you today. Enjoy! All right, Eric, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Daniel.
It's nice to have you here. We've met before. So I finally got you on our show and to share all the stories you've told me before. Can you tell me and the listeners a little bit about yourself and maybe share the 1 minute pitch for one of your startups, Batmaid?
Yes, so just a few words about myself. I'm Eric Laudet. I'm actually from Paris, even though I've been living in Switzerland for 7 years now and becoming Swiss.
Are you getting the citizenship soon?
Soon, but in the mindset, I take the best of it.
What's the best of the Swiss mindset?
It's not always useful for entrepreneurship, but maybe we'll come back on this later. But I think it's pretty good sometimes to be neutral in many situations. It helps in many cases.
Yeah.
So I started into commodity trading when I arrived in Switzerland. So 7 years ago, worked at Louis Dreyfus, and I've always felt the need to become an entrepreneur since I was a child, and because of my grandfather. Now,
what did he do?
He was like into, after the Second World War, he was into all the waterproof materials that you can find and building the brand Cyclone. And so after the commodity trading experience, I realized that it was really high time for me to become an entrepreneur. And so I went to Africa to set up a project there. Didn't go well at all, faced many difficulties. I had a commodity project there in Ivory Coast, in Nigeria. Yeah. But I learned quite a lot. And then after coming back to Switzerland, I met my co-founder, Andreas. And we actually, he was coming back from the US and he tried Handy.com, which is the Batmaid in the US. Yeah. And he told me, wait, it doesn't exist in Switzerland. Why not launching something in Switzerland? And I was like, look, I'm into commodities. I'm doing serious stuff. I'm interested in the markets and stuff. Why? I have nothing to do with cleaning ladies, sorry. Yeah. And he insisted a bit, a few hours. And I said, okay. And from that day, I quitted my job and I just stayed with him. And in 2 days, we had a complete vision of what Batmaid should look like. And after, it was only a matter of execution. But from the idea to the execution, there were maybe only 2 days. Yeah. And that's what magical. We got from 0 to 1 in 2 days for me. After, it was only pure energy execution. Yeah. So Batmaid, in a nutshell, is the first platform in Switzerland to book your cleaning lady insured and declared in less than 60 seconds. So you could say that it was just a copycat of Handy.com in the US, but it's not, because we had to calibrate the model. In the US or Helpling in Germany, they are using self-employed workers. They are doing the Uber for home cleaners. We are more anti-Uber for home cleaners, meaning that we declare and insure all the employees. So in our model, we are not the employer. The cleaning ladies are not self-employed, but we managed to invent a new social model, business model, not existing in Switzerland, which is turning the client into the employer.
Right.
In fact, when you book online, you're becoming the client. As a
employer.
client, you become the employer. So that's completely new, and of course, as a client, you don't see any difference. So because behind, we declare and insure, we do all the paperwork on your behalf. You have nothing to do. You just book, you sign the trust mandate, and it's done. Then after, we managed to fully digitalize the cleaning experience, and you can edit your upcoming cleanings and change your cleaning lady or add some extras. Like you're really free.
Yeah, I checked out the up until where I needed to pay. Because I don't have the cash to pay a cleaning lady.
Oh, come on. So many podcasts already.
Yeah, this doesn't make any money. But it's really nice. It's really simple.
Yes.
And I talked to so many people years ago already about this topic of finding a cleaning person and insuring her or him all these contract things is super complicated if you don't know how to do it.
Exactly.
And that is just and a lot of people hire without insurance, without social security, and then that's
so that's
not legal. So
that's it. Like we are fighting against the black market, and that's our why. That's our DNA. We really want to fight against this black market. It's a market. The B2C market is 1 billion in Switzerland. 80% is black. So we think that through digitalization, the black market share will shrink because people understand that it's so easy nowadays to book a cleaning lady online that we do the paperwork and everything so that they do it. Yeah. And that's also the big difference between the horizontal marketplaces, horizontal platforms versus vertical platforms.
Give us an example of.
Yes, we are typically a vertical platform because we do the selection of the cleaning ladies, and it's a thorough selection. We actually have 5 HR people all around Switzerland making 2 to 3 rounds of interview for each maid. We're recruiting now 150 maids a month. Which is like hundreds of interviews. We make sure you have the best available cleaners. And so the selection is one part of verticality. You have, as I said, the declaration and insurance, or admin team is doing all the paperwork. Of course, between you and me, it's fully automated. Yeah. The tech component is huge. We are both a tech startup and a service platform. And third, we are also into the operations and customer support or maid support. And this is a big part of our verticality too. If you compare with horizontal platform, for instance, Anibis Home Service 24 in Switzerland or any Yellow Pages or Star of Service in France, these ones, they are just matching one-off supply with demand, but you have nobody behind to call, and it's just absolutely no effort on their side. And
they match a lot of different things, right? They match cleaning, plumber,
completely.
Blah, blah, blah. So that's why it's horizontal, because it covers different aspects.
Yes.
And you go into one aspect for now, which is the cleaning.
So that's
then you do everything.
Exactly, meaning that of course they can offer all kind of services, like Star of Service. After 1 year, they offered like 1,000 of services. Yeah, it made my comforter and I really laugh because really there is no value added in our eyes. And what we do is we plan, of course, to develop other services, but with keeping the same verticality and sense of service towards our customers. Yeah. And we'll launch this year, for instance, the B2B cleaning, office cleaning. And handyman at the end of the year, probably.
Nice.
So handyman, of course, is everything that is to mount your furniture, and there is a big demand for that too.
Yeah, I'm wondering what did your first MVP? What does your MVP look like? Because you said it. I mean, there's a lot of tech behind it, and now you have HR people doing all the interviews. How did you start though? What did that look like?
So that was it's a very interesting question because initially we struggled a lot. We were outsourcing IT in the Philippines. For the first 6 months, it was a nightmare. Then we internalized everything.
Yeah.
But still, even with this, our MVP was like not a minimum viable product, but a maximum viable product because we already had most features. Everything was not perfect. Really, like lots of bugs and regression for every release, but it was good enough to have our first 40 customers in the first months, and then hundreds of customers in the second month, and then we grew crazy from there. Now, just to tell you, we have more than 1,500 cleaners. We do more than 600 cleanings a day. We have 50 employees internally, and it all started with my co-founder and I being in one room with like 2 employees and this IT company that we outsourced. But we had the vision on how the platform should look like. We left nothing to chance.
Yeah. How did you acquire your first? And it's B2C customer acquisition is a tough one. How do you acquire your first? I mean, I can see acquiring the cleaning personnel. Okay, you can get that, but the customers, how do they know about Batmaid? How did you do that in the beginning?
So this is a very interesting question too. Like at the beginning, I think we met so many stakeholders, so many people around the project that we created our own ecosystem. Let's say we had the idea and we executed, and by executing our idea, we actually build up our own ecosystem of people around us. So our friends all around Switzerland, we are lucky, it's a small country, or all the people we talk to, like the marketing agencies, the accountants, you name it, like everyone to build a company.
Yeah.
And we met hundreds of interviews to build a company like this, and in the end, people knew us.
Yeah. So you mean interviews to hire?
No interviews to be a client of those people, or to book their service in order to build our complicated business model.
Yeah.
And in the end, I think that was good for the beginning, and the fact that we are lucky to have a business that is relying on Google AdWords.
Yeah.
Everyone is looking for a cleaning lady online.
Yeah.
And so it was an organic growth at the beginning through the Google AdWords, and we did a lot of offline marketing, even though we had like very little money at the start. We invested everything we had, my co-founder and I, and so in the end we managed to use, for instance, we were on the cinema. Even the first month, I think we were on the cinema.
An ad in the cinema.
Yeah, ad in the cinema before movies. We were on TV screens in the airport. We had a lot of weird marketing channels like this, unusual for
a startup,
very young startup.
It's very expensive, isn't it?
Yes, but we managed to do it enough so that we can acquire customers. Let's say find bubble of clients on the B2C market, and then we have this sponsorship program whereby when you're a client, you can sponsor your friends, and they get 20%, 20 francs
like
off.
A referral program.
In a referral program. And then it grew organically, and the fact that we always stressed the importance of customer support made us have pretty good retention rates at the start.
Yeah. So
we have a repeat business model. People can book for a one-off cleaning, but as well for every week, every 2 weeks, or every month. And so this helps us to have to generate a steady and growing stream of cash flow from the start, which is not the case for all businesses. So we were looking at this business model too.
Yeah. If you have to get the transaction again, and like if you get it automatically because people book twice a month.
That's the magic of the repeat business model.
First I thought, okay, they have a marketplace. That's tough because you have to get transactions, but then you put a subscription model on top, and I was like, oh, this is this is working. Yeah. How did you think about the pricing? Pricing is always an interesting topic for me.
Yes.
How did you? Are you still working on the pricing? Because people say you should always be adapting your prices.
I see what you might be thinking. Is like you're thinking about the Uber and then dynamic pricing, surge of price when we have very few cleaners. Things that we have people behind the cleaning ladies making a very hard work, and we cannot play actually in the mind, in the eyes of the customers with their salary.
Yeah.
So we wanted to have a stable pricing from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's more expensive if you book a one-off because it's more work for us. But otherwise, the pricing is based on the area. Basel and Zurich are 3 francs higher than Romandy or any other part of Switzerland. And this is because the black market is higher. So we need to have higher salaries to hire the maids.
Yeah.
And the same goes for the clients, which tend to have a higher purchasing power.
Yeah.
So our pricing is, right now I would say, is just fine because we are cheaper than any traditional cleaning firms. They make you pay at least 39. We are at 34 for recurrence, francs per hour. And then the black market is between 25 and 30. If you declare cleaning lady yourself, you would pay maybe 31. So
but you have all the work.
Exactly, you have all the work, and then you don't have you cannot use the platform and change the cleaning ladies, and you're not insured if she breaks something or many things. So it's I think it's great.
Yeah, it's right between. I mean, you have both arguments, right? It's better than the black market, so it's more expensive, but it's cheaper than the competition.
Yeah,
so.
It's cheaper than the competition because they have they have fixed costs, brick and mortar companies, as we say, and so they have to have high prices, and we are really dematerialized on our sides.
Yeah. What? Thinking about building up a marketplace, there's many challenges with that. What for you were the biggest challenges in regard to this marketplace?
So initially, we have to start small, and that's good for any startup, but especially with a marketplace. So we started with Lausanne and Geneva, with 40 workers.
So you started to have you first had the cleaners. Exactly.
Yeah, cleaners available. We made sure they were available for these zip codes only, and we made sure that they had enough availabilities. So we entered their availabilities in the platform and covered locations, places they are happy to work, and then when we launched the platform the 1st of April 2015. We actually waited for the first bookings.
How long did that take?
It was an eternity, but it was only 3 days.
It still feels long though.
Friends of us.
It's always friends.
Yeah.
But why not?
So it's it worked like this, and then after now, just to give you an idea of the journey we had, now we are data driven, meaning that at the postcode level, we know exactly the difference between supply and demand, and we know exactly if the HR should go there in priority to recruit because the demand is there.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of data, and we act according to this. Yes.
Yeah. So it was one big challenge that you've been, or that you have been working on previously. I mean, now it seems to all work quite fine. I'm sure there's challenges.
Yeah, lots.
As in every startup, but one big challenge that you can also have resolved it already.
We have challenges every day. This is a tricky question.
It's easy to pick.
No, that's really just challenges. That's a really tricky question. Like, it's challenges every single day, many challenges a day, but For instance, we organize these local marketing campaigns these days. So we take one city and we do like 8 marketing channels.
Yeah.
Like for instance, end of March we'll be in Zurich with billboards, TV, radio, renting the railway stations to distribute Batmaid spongers.
Yeah.
Like we'll be flyering all around the city in every single mailbox, even if it shows
no ads.
no ads. So we are really aggressive in this field. But then the challenge here, concrete challenge, is to have enough supply. So we make sure with our HR team that we won't get depleted quick, because if as a client you come on the website and you cannot book, then you're unlikely to come back.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Why do you think? I mean, we discussed it previously. You grew extremely fast. What do you think made that possible? What do you think your team and you managed to do that in such a short period of time? What I'm trying to find out is, what recommendations do you have for anyone else starting something and wanting to grow fast?
So the first recommendation I can give, because this was our experience, is to be, as founders, you really need to be hands-on. And you really need to first do your work. Initially it has to be done by you, so that you can recruit and keep track of the people doing the work after that. Because if you delegate, you know that the work is likely to be less well done than if you were doing it yourself. So you need to control all your employees at the start, especially when you have a lot of interns, as we had, in order to grow. If you really leave nothing to chance, have an eye, and you're aware of everything, then you're in control, and it makes a big difference.
How do you do that? Leave nothing to chance? I mean, isn't that almost impossible?
That's a good comment. Like, entrepreneurship is actually, that's a long discussion, but that's pure luck for me. You just need to expose yourself to a certain randomness, and you need to of course put all your chances on your side, which is for instance, being hands-on is really, really important, because otherwise you're gonna, for instance, if you have a new intern, he's not reading, for instance, he's writing an email to a client, you didn't check it, it's not at the beginning. That's super important, and it should be flawless. And then after, you can lead, being a charismatic leader, because you did your stuff. You put your hand in the dirt. And that's if you do it this way, you really feel the business, and you really know how to grow it.
So first do everything yourself.
And then after, for the growth, so this just for the launch, for the ignition. After, you really need to be smart and creative in marketing. So of course, if you have organic channels like Google AdWords, do it. It should be optimized. That's the main point. Then after, you need to be creative. So you need to go to for instance, we are sponsoring the 20 biggest sport events in Switzerland. We have Batmaid bins, 100 that we put all around the racetrack, and we have a strong visibility for nothing. We do the waste management with our Batmaids, and in return we have this visibility. We managed to enter the primary school through comics with Batmaid as a hero, to teach the young children how to tidy up their rooms. It's hard to enter certain schools, but it starts to pay off in terms of brand awareness. And you need to always be creative like this. For instance, this year we're gonna open the Batmaid boutique, Batmaid shops in prime locations in Switzerland, because we want to attract as well everyone on the street, people not necessarily watching TV or reading the newspaper or listening to radio.
Yeah.
And so if you find many ways to like multiply your marketing channel, diversify your marketing channels, and to anticipate when a marketing channel will run out of steam, then you can really do a great job into acquiring customers.
Yeah.
So I think this is why we are growing well. And of course, the fact that I have now an amazing team, 50 dedicated people, amazing managers, doing an accurate job. They are passionate about the marketplace. They are really aligned with our goal to reach 100 million turnover by 2022. It's possible. It's a super high expectation, but it's doable. And so far they are doing a good work, and they know that they have to surpass themselves.
Yeah.
As I always tell them, surpassing yourself is really key for us.
Yeah. So this is not the only startup you're working on.
Exactly.
You have a couple of small projects on the side.
Yes, I mean, I really defined myself now as a serial entrepreneur in the making, meaning that I have many other interests other than cleaning.
Other than cleaning?
And marketplaces.
Yeah.
And right now I'm working on projects into the biohacking field. Of course.
What's biohacking?
Yeah.
For people not into biohacking.
Yeah, it sounds like a barbarian word, but it's basically we have defined health as the absence of diseases so far.
Mm-hmm.
And actually in the neuro biohacking field, we think we can increase health. So people being in good health, and you can improve their mental health by being, for instance, more mindful, more present, to increase this flow mode that is super necessary in entrepreneurship. Or body hacking for sport, for instance.
Yeah.
And this the project is called BloodX. So basically, I want to take your blood and DNA, so your saliva, Daniel. I want to take all the data from you. I want to know your lifestyle, and we are through AI and some medical research we have access to. We can make a link between what you do, what you eat, your biomarkers in your blood, and then the end result on your sleep, your strength, your sex drive, all your biohacking goals. And the goal being to find the biochemical patterns of a good day, or the biochemical patterns of being strong, or having a good sleep, all this.
Yeah.
So it's a massive project. You have example like this Insight Tracker in the US. We want to be the European Insight Tracker.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I am trying to find more and more people into the medical field. Yeah. It's really hard to find medical entrepreneurs, so I'm struggling, but it's necessary so that we build a top-notch board of medical advisors. Yeah. So this is one project that's really the one that is gonna take most of my time, I think, in the 20 years to come. Otherwise, I co-founded Gotham Co-working. This is.
You have something with Batman, yeah? You're a big fan.
Yeah. Oh, you made the link. Yes, Batmaid and Gotham. Yes, and the bar is called Alfred in Gotham.
Really?
Yes, it's true. And so we have two co-workings right now. One is the single biggest co-working space in Switzerland, close to the station in Lausanne. One in Flon in Lausanne too. And some others will open very soon in Geneva, Basel, Zurich.
Very cool.
So for this, I was involved on a daily basis, but now I mean it was hard to manage everything. So we decided with our two other co-founders because we are 4 co-founders in this project, that we'll go more into the let's say Swiss way. We wanted to grow as fast as Batmaid, because we could easily raise 15 millions. We had the possibility to do this, and then selling to WeWork ASAP. But through discussions, yes, we'll go more the Swiss way and develop one space after another, and the most important is that it works and that Gotham becomes a strong brand with a unique positioning, which is of course being in the city center, top quality furniture, accessible price, and of course a top-notch network too, with Swiss CEOs pitching every week.
How do you get the affordable price? Because the co-working spaces here in Zurich, it's as a startup, you can't really pay for it.
Exactly.
And how do you combine this with top-notch furniture and in the city center?
Look,
I see a conflict there.
It's magical. Yeah, exactly. So that's true. Like a startup like Batmaid at the start, I mean, this is why we were, for 2 years, we were working from my co-founder's living room.
Yeah.
It's impossible. In Gotham, we have like big startups. Startups already working or who made 15 million Swiss franc ICOs, for instance.
Right.
So this they can pay the rent, but it's hard. But our price is accessible in the sense that we have through one of our co-founders contacts with some players in the industry, and we can get way cheaper rent.
Right.
If you take market prices to build up a co-working right now in Zurich, you're dead, because you can only sell to banks and you're not competitive. So, and then after for Vitra, we have a partnership. We are a showroom for them, so we don't pay a lot for the Vitra furniture.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of doing the right deals at the right time.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm really excited about that co-working space. My partner and I have been working out of the university classrooms. They have like these learning rooms that are empty, and so we still have the university Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
we go
that's
there.
all.
Or the living room, as you did. I'm still wondering, because conventional wisdom says focus, and be consistent and work on one thing. But you have so many different projects. How do you plan that? How do you divide up your weeks? How do you make sure you can put enough work into each of these projects so that they all grow like you want them to grow?
In the end, I think it's a matter of mindfulness, and as I said, it's very important to be in flow mode. And when you have like, just one startup, or when you are not, let's say,
who has just one startup? That's just, I mean, seriously.
No, I mean, I need to be challenged even more.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I get bored. And for my maximum efficiency, I need to be polymath in what I do, and to make sure I diversify my time. Of course, my bulk of my time is Batmaid, but for the rest, it's really a matter of making things go forward, and when you're passionate, you have no difference between your work time and your
it stops. There's no difference.
You're not stressed or anything. It's everything is like in a continuum, and you're always in a flow mode, and having this inner focused energy, which is the flow mode, can help you to achieve results in various areas, and it's really possible. And which is sometimes hard is to switch when you do deep work on one project, from one project to another.
Oh, it takes time.
It's super hard, but we always say multitasking is not good for brain and stuff, but I think it's pretty good, because then you develop an agility, and you increase your flow mode.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you covered a couple of topics that I read about. You know, flow mode, deep work. Probably you read the book Deep Work from Cal Newport.
Not this one.
Not this one, but the other one. There's a couple of books on focus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do you get into that state of deep work? So where you're in that flow mode, as you say, and you're not distracted, and you can really focus.
That's a very good question. I think it's first doing the things right. So as I said initially, leaving nothing to chance, meaning that you have good interaction with your employees. You don't take their words for granted. You ask questions. It helps you to know what they are doing. I think it helps to be really in tune, in synchronized flow mode with them. And in the end, it's a matter of how you manage yourself. And you can do a lot of sport, for instance. I go every single morning, waking up at, it varies, 6 or 7. I do 1 hour sports, CrossFit, calisthenics every single day. It helps me to focus. I tend to meditate a bit, but that's really hard for me. And I've recently been interested in the microdosing story.
Yeah.
So
what's that?
The microdosing story. So it's like right now the Silicon Valley and most tech hubs have discovered the use of tiny dose of psychedelic drugs to improve your focus. And to be more in the moment. What's basically is doing is that it's decrease the default mode network you have in the brain, decrease its activity, and you have less thoughts or feelings from the past or less anxiety from the future.
Yeah.
And on top of this, it helps you to see your ego in a different way. You understand finally that you are not your thoughts or you are not your feelings.
Yeah.
And this helps tremendously to be in the moment, because in the end, this ego, thoughts or feelings is what is between you and the environment, nature, you and the other people, and you and yourself.
Yeah.
And if you want to be completely to enjoy and leverage on the power of now, I think this is one way to do it. And right now you have very serious studies from Imperial College, Berkeley Foundation, that are showing that it's not only a placebo effect.
Yeah.
It's really working, and of course it's not harmful for the brain. On the contrary, it helps to make you use other parts of your brain that were not used before, and develop creativity, for instance. And it's just makes you way more emotionally and smarter, let's say.
Yeah. But you wouldn't recommend taking that every day.
So there is
the rest of your life.
No. There is first there is a protocol for that. Either if you want to try, you have to do it seriously. James Fadiman has written a protocol that is followed now by and that's been validated by many research all around the world. So it's every 3 days.
Yeah.
And basically people starting to do this after 6 or 7 months, they stop, because they became so self-aware of who they are, of their mind and of their body, that they, through neuroplasticity, they have changed so many bad habits. They stop eating junk foods, they stop drinking alcohol, they do more sports, they have a way healthier lifestyle. And once you are self-aware, then at some point your body is telling you, okay, now you got it, and you naturally stop.
Yeah.
So there is absolutely no addiction. That's the point, and no withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes. So it's one way to achieve this mindfulness.
This-
It sounds like cheating, but you
it's
can
a
meditate.
bit cheating,
but
but
if-
whatever. I mean, if it works and if you can stop afterwards,
Yes.
it's just you just accelerate to that point where
Yes.
you
more,
are that.
when you're more like you have an access to a higher state of consciousness and live just a happier life.
I mean, who doesn't want to live a happier life?
Oh, like that's a big question because
Some-
most entrepreneurs are only looking for achievements. When I was starting Batmaid, I was telling myself, okay, happiness will be for later or never. I don't care. I want to achieve. I want pain.
Yeah.
I was only looking for pain and achievement. But actually being in this flow mode and this being mindful is the only way to conciliate happiness with achievement. Because then you have this wonderful feeling of you had a very good day. You're
Yeah.
content.
Yeah. Which is I can see how as an entrepreneur you always working towards the next milestone, and then you're never in the moment.
Exactly. This is a massive question, and I think the art of being in the moment and still achieve is really, you have these goals that can really make you anxious, but still you're in the moment.
Yeah.
So that's, if you can combine both.
I think so too. Yeah. But it's hard because it pulls you towards.
Completely. But you will reach your goals even better if you're cool, calm, and collected.
And the thing is, if you're not in the moment, you'll go for these goals and you'll reach them, but there's always going to be a next goal, so you'll not be happy.
Exactly.
It's not that's going to make you happy.
Exactly.
So you should really go to sleep content
Exactly.
every night. That's the goal, and enjoy the journey.
Yes.
On a normal day, if we're talking about sleep, how much do you work? Because there's so many projects. People could be thinking, oh, this guy, he works 20 hours. I can't do that.
But this is the thing, like I sleep a lot and I have a lot of free time. I know it sounds completely
How do you do it?
crazy.
How much do you sleep? I'm good at 8 hours.
Yeah, to be completely honest, I sleep during the week. I sleep 6 hours, and I have nap every day of 30 minutes,
That
15,
helps.
30 minutes, no more,
Yeah.
of course. And I think as a would-be biohacker, I should sleep minimum 7 hours. So I know it's bad, and I'm trying to fine-tune the sleep. So that's really tricky. But when I know that I have some CrossFit to do in the morning, then when I wake up, I'm excited and I go for it. So no, I think it's possible to do everything and still have free time, and just a matter of managing yourself and managing others.
Yeah. Have you been prioritizing things in your life and deprioritizing things?
No. Big time.
To make time for the things that are important to you.
I've always been clear on that it was work first, business first, from the start. Didn't have stable relationships for many years because I was more into having a business baby, not.
Yeah,
like,
but that was that made
that
you
was
happy, and that
it's
makes you happy,
completely,
so that's
and
good.
so that was the number one priority, and that has always been. So then it's easy when you make the hard choice at the beginning, easy life, but easy choice, hard life. It's always it's always this. So this is fine. Then after, yes, in terms of projects, of course, the most advanced project is by far Batmaid, and we wanted to grow till an exit.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's the goal in the end. Yes, because we know at some point that. For instance, a trade sale with a big name like ISS, will bring a lot of fresh cash in order to develop, grow even bigger, and leverage on their expertise, on their knowledge, and it can only be good for the company. So the alternative would be an IPO, but then you need to supply so much information, and you have so many constraints. That's not worth it for the moment. We don't consider it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I have fire round. 3 questions. What's something crazy you believe that nobody else around you believes?
That's a tricky one.
So to help you out, because I asked you this question before the interview, and you said you believe in biohacking, and that this is an area that, and I can see that many people would be like, I don't know, I'm not sure about that.
I mean, I'm convinced, 100% convinced that biohacking will be even bigger than the internet, blockchain, or AI, because we are lagging behind in terms of what we do with our health. We didn't do, we live in a very advanced, technological world for other topics, but we didn't do many things with our body. The medical field sometimes is really lacking a more global vision on the individual, and we are not into increasing the potential or increasing the mindfulness. This is a really, really new concept, and I really believe that the biohacking industry and the understanding of the human body through big data and it will be a revolution. And everyone now, more and more people wants to get control back on their own health data and leverage on it to have a better life. So I really believe in it.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm really curious to see how it continues. If you could put one message on a billboard, a short message, 144 characters, to get to millions or billions of people, what would that message on the billboard be?
Just fucking do it. I know it sounds completely cliche, but that's so true. As I said, from an idea to an execution, it's really it just depends on you. And what your mind can conceive, you can really achieve. And people know this sentence, but they are not aware of it. When you're aware of this sentence, you can do everything. You can break everything. It's so powerful. Everything you can conceive, you can achieve. It just depends on you.
And the way you phrased it really expresses the frustration I have sometimes when I talk to people and they tell me I have this idea, but I don't know, and I'm like,
this is overthinking. This is and I'm stuck with the new projects. I'm stuck on this part because we are discussing the ideas, the business model and stuff, discussing business plans. It's really, really, really bad. The real entrepreneurship is just do it and you will see, because in the end, it's just a matter of luck. So many planets need to be aligned. This is so complicated. So you have to expose yourself to randomness in the best way you can. But in the end, if you don't try, you're unlikely to succeed in anything. So expose yourself to randomness. That's another way to put it on the
it's a more
on the board.
It's a nicer way, but I love the direct way of the first sentence. What's the last book or blog post you read that you would recommend to entrepreneurs, or a podcast? You just told me before you listen to podcasts as well. Whatever.
Well, if I had to pick one right now, I'm rereading Anti-Fragile from Nassim Taleb. Nassim Taleb and I had the same professor, and he explains very well how you can benefit from randomness, because things can benefit from randomness. They are not fragile, they are not robust, they are anti-fragile. And for this, you really need to put all the chances on your side by in entrepreneurship, like, you know, surrounding yourself with the right people, for instance, being in the right ecosystem to launch the right product.
Yeah.
So otherwise, for the podcast, I'm a great fan of Naval Ravikant's podcast with Tim Ferriss. They made 2 very good podcasts on everything that is they speak about mindfulness. Naval Ravikant is the founder of AngelList.
Yeah.
I really like this guy in terms of what he did and how he behaves and his view on life.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I learned quite a lot with these podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah, the Tim Ferriss show is a very good a very good podcast.
Good model, right?
Yeah, it's a good one. And he's done so many episodes.
Yes.
It's incredible. All right, you have survived the podcast. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, and all the best for all of your projects. I'm
Thank
really, really excited about the biohacking one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to, when I start earning money with my startup, to order through Batmaid, someone to help me clean my apartment.
And then to invest in my startups, right?
Yeah, if I have enough money, I mean, obviously, at some point. That's a long time ahead. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Daniel.
That was it. Thanks for listening to another episode of Startup Stories. Make sure to check out the show notes with additional links at nerdentrepreneurs.com. And if you like our podcast, leave a review on iTunes. See you next Monday.